summer camp at Chinmaya Somnath. We'll start with a prayer and then we'll jump into the parent orientation. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So this is our agenda for today. Hopefully we can get through it, zip through it quickly. And then I'll be here to answer questions. And there's some other sevaks from the team who will also be able to help with answers. So our theme, as all of you know, this year is Veera Hanuman. Swamiji, specifically Swami Dhiranandaji, who's our resident Vedanta teacher at Chinmaya CMWRC. How many of you are Chinmaya Mission members here already who come to Bala Vihar? Okay, so we do have some new families, so you're not familiar with Chinmaya Mission. Okay, I will keep that in mind. Sometimes I automatically assume that everybody is familiar with Bala Vihar. Swami Dhiranandaji is our resident Vedanta teacher who's responsible for the Chinmaya Mission Washington Regional Center. So Chinmaya Somnath here, Chinmaya Mission in Maryland, Chinmayam. Then we have a Chinmaya Frederick, Maryland, one in Richmond, and one in Salisbury, Maryland. So all 5 of them come under the Chinmaya Mission Washington Regional Center. And so Swami Dhiranandaji, I'll show you a picture later, is our resident Vedanta teacher here. And considering we are coming out of COVID, things have gotten better. We thought this year, Veera Hanuman was the most ideal theme for us. We usually have a rotation that starts with Ganesha and we work our way through the Devis and the Devas, and we, through Lord Vishnu, all of that, we work our way through. We have a 9-year summer camp curriculum, so that, or 8-year, when the child comes in first grade, they can go through the whole curriculum if they come all the years from first grade to 8th grade. And we have many children who are like that, who've come throughout for 8 years, they've come to the program. So this year will be Veera Hanuman is our theme. We do shlokas and bhajans. Swamiji will be teaching them chapter 2 this year. The 3rd section of chapter 2 will be taught this year. And so your children will be set up for the Gita chanting competition that happens in March of next year. So the first time it's taught, any time, is at summer camp, is when the first time we teach the Gita. And then they'll also be learning Sankat Mochan and some bhajans, Hanumanji bhajans, and other related curriculum. Swamiji teaches through stories. All our teachers, especially in the younger grades, we teach through stories because that's more powerful to them. Our 7th and 8th graders, we delve a little bit more deeply into like the philosophy and stuff like that, but keeping it still relevant to their age. We have a certified yoga teacher who'll be teaching this year at camp. They'll be doing yoga. Art will be in the afternoons. We do dance. We this time have culinary arts also for the older grades. So I think this is gonna be 4th grade and above. We'll do some culinary arts. We have outdoor athletics. I think I just found this typo in that. So we have a former NFL player who comes and teaches athletics for us. He's been teaching at our camp, I don't know, since 2006 or 2008. So he'll be here doing athletics with them. We do indoor games, and then on Fridays, we do fun Fridays, and I'll share some more about that as we move along. As I mentioned, this is Swami Dhiranandaji, and he's a resident Acharya here. Swamiji comes to Virginia for 4 weeks for summer camp. Otherwise, Swamiji stays in Silver Spring. So for the summer camp, Swamiji travels here and is here. So your children will get to see Swamiji every day. Fridays is dependence on what we're doing. Swamiji is on site some days and not on site on other days. This year also, we will have Arvindji, who will be here for those of you who come to Bala Vihar. will know, Arvindji and Medhaji are our resident Vedanta teachers here at Chinmaya Somnath along with Vijay Kumarji. And they both will be teaching at camp this year also. This is their first time teaching at summer camp, so we're very excited about that. And then we have Avinashi, who comes from Trinidad every year for summer camp, and we missed him the last 2 years because of COVID. He hasn't been able to travel, and we've done camp online the last 2 years. That was one thing that was special for us, that even during COVID, we could continue with summer camp because it's been a tradition in Silver Springs since 1990. We've had summer camp, and here since 2004 in Virginia. We've never missed a year, so we kept that up during COVID also. As I mentioned, Khalid will be teaching athletics. We have Lakshmi, a lot of the kids who come to camp before know her as Lucky Didi. She'll be doing dance. Anita Ji will be doing yoga. Sudiksha Nimishe, who's our Balavihar director at Maryland, will be doing art with them. Kumar Iyer will be doing culinary arts. Purvi Nanavati is one of our Balavihar graduates, and she will be coming and doing bhajans with them. So the way we do bhajans is we blend it into the curriculum, because a 50-minute bhajan period is a bit much for most children. So we blend it into the curriculum. So she'll be meeting with all groups. We will have 4 groups this time. The grade 1 children will be in a group by themselves, and then grade 2 and 3 will be together. Grade 4, 5, and 6 will be together, and grade 7 and 8 will be together. Typically we have 5 groups because we accept 108 students. This time, because of COVID and because of the fact that we wanted to make sure we could have camp safely, we have only 54 students that we've accepted at camp. So we have people on a wait list. So these seats are very precious at this point of time. We have youth volunteers. So what we encourage, so we have our high school Balavihar students who come as youth volunteers to us. So we have 35 or 36 youth volunteers who will be here this time. They come different weeks, so in any given week, we'll have 12 to 16 of them. So if any of you are in Balavihar and your children are going into 9th grade next year, it's an opportunity for them to apply. The application comes out sometime in March for them to apply to be a youth volunteer. And they get about 40 service hours a week. Arvindji? Yeah, please. They get 40 service hours a week when they come and volunteer at camp, and we guarantee at least 1 week of volunteering for them. And this year we have a specialized classes, and we try to do this every year, is different students based on their interests. So this time we have creative writing, I think we have electronics, and a couple, I think there's some team building ones, and there's a few other activities. It's based, every year those classes change, based on the interest of the youth volunteers who've come in. So we encourage them to teach the classes. We are there to support them. And they come up with the curriculum, they come up with the activities, and each week we rotate out a different activity. And it's a way for us to encourage that leadership and growth in our youth counselors who come in. And then we also have Seva activities set up. They'll be doing some Seva for the homeless shelter, and for some for Chinmaya Somnath over here, and Alka ji and Vani ji will be leading that for this. We have a fairly vast organizing team depending on what everybody is doing. We always welcome new sevaks to come and join our team. You do not have to be part of Chinmaya Mission to join our team. And the reason we have a wide pool is most of us or all of us are pretty much working full time. And that way we can parse out small pieces to everybody, and everybody does a little bit for us to be able to make this camp, because we're all volunteers. None of us get paid. Here, Balaji's here, and Chandanaji's at the back. I am there, Sriniji, and then we have a lot of other sevaks. The names are here. So that we just do a little bit of part, and we all volunteer time for that. And some of us have been like, I think Lavanya has been at summer camp probably as long as I have been, which is somewhere in the 2004s. We've been helping since summer camp first came to Virginia. So a lot of us have been here 16, 18 years in different capacities. These are our youth volunteer leads. They're all our Balavihar graduates who are now going off to college. And so they're all becoming to help out at summer camp. We have a lead youth volunteer director. Her name is Shruti Ramesh. She's been a Balavihar student summer camp counselor. She's a teacher at Loudoun County Public Schools, so she organizes the whole program. These 4 will be your on-site youth volunteers. Camp dates, as you know, are June 20th to July 15th. I know June 20th is a federal holiday, but we will still have camp. So it will be the first day of camp. Camp timings are 8:45 to 4:45 p.m. and drop-off will be between 8:30 and 8:45. Now, due to COVID, we will do a kiss and ride, both in the morning. We've always had it in the morning, but now in the afternoon also we will have, and I will go over those details with you in a little bit. Pickup time. So pickup time is 4:45. So I'll go over. There's a little nuance to that one, but you have a grace period till 5:30. After 5:30, we assess a late charge for you to come because the Sevaks have to stay here to make sure your children are entrusted to the parent. We will not have camp on 4th of July. So that federal holiday we will all take off. And the last Friday we celebrate as a finale at camp. So we'll go over the fun Fridays, but the last Friday, so please mark your calendars for 3 to 5 p.m. on the last Friday of camp, which is 15th of July. So this is kind of how the day looks for your children. So they come in, they have morning assembly. When they're waiting for Swamiji to come, they do meditation and Likita Japa. This will be posted to the website. They do chanting with Swamiji from 9 to 9:45. They will do snacks after that. And then they have, depending on which grade they're in or what the curriculum is, they will be doing either the theme class, which they will be learning about Veera Hanuman. You can come in and sit here. They'll be learning about Veera Hanumanji. There will be skit, which actually Arvindji, who's here, Arvindji, you saw the picture before, Arvindji is here, is our Vedanta teacher here. And they will do bhajans and yoga. That's our morning schedule, and depending on which group your child is in, that will be the schedule. They'll get all the activities on different days. We have lunch and recess, so they spend some time indoors and sometimes outdoors. And then in the afternoon, they do hopping game with Swamiji. Every group gets to do hopping game. So for those of you remember it, it's Langri Tang. You basically, so we create a arena for them to play that, and they do that every week. Every group gets 2 opportunities to do hopping game with Swamiji. And we have athletics, dance, and then Avinashji does Krida with them. So the traditional Indian games like Kho and all of that, he plays all of those with them and he teaches them. And then we have those specialized YV-led classes also in the afternoon. They do afternoon snack in that, and I'll go over the snack and the requirements and all of that for that. 4:10 to 4:15, they do prayers, and I'm trying to remember, either on Wednesdays and Thursdays, we do Ganga Jal. We sprinkle Ganga Jal on the children on Wednesdays or Thursdays. I don't remember which day now. 4:15 to 4:45, 4:40 is evening assembly with Swamiji. And then after that, there's an optional hopping game. So every day, a different group will go. And that schedule will be posted onto the website. So my recommendation to you, so you do not have unhappy, whiny kids at the end of it, is to let them do their hopping game with Swamiji on the day that they're assigned. That way they get 2 periods with Swamiji. And then theme also, every week in the morning, one group meets with Swamiji. So over the course of the week, they have 3 opportunities to meet just as their group. Assembly is every day with Swamiji. So that gives them more time to spend with Swamiji. And so that was what I would recommend you do. So we'll post the schedule. On the day that they are not having hopping game, you can pick them up anytime after 4:45. But on the days they do, I would recommend doing 5:15. And we'll have the carpool for you at that time. And the grace period is 5:15 to 5:30. And as I said, after 5:30, we assess a late fee for them. So if your child is going to be absent, we have a form on the resources section of the website. Please fill that out. Swamiji's chanting begins at 4 o'clock. From 4 to 4:40, we do not allow any children to exit that room. So if you have anything that you need to pick up your child, we ask that you do it before 4 p.m. because once they're in that room with Swamiji, we cannot pull out any children. And that's always been the rule for us, and we follow that strictly. So at 4:40, you can come and pick up your child at that point of time if there's an early thing. I also ask that if, as far as possible, not to schedule doctor's appointments and all of that that you need to keep pulling your children out of. And evening activities, I know there's some parents who are here who've been at summer camp before. They can back up what I'm saying. They're tired after a full day of camp. So don't pack their evenings with events, because you will have not very happy children is the best thing I can do. And both my children have gone through camp, and they've both gone as our youth. I have one coming in as a youth counselor, one who's in college who still helps out with the binder and everything like that at camp. So I can tell you, this is from personal experience that I'm also telling you. Dress code, we will be giving everybody 2 t-shirts. It comes as part of your registration. They are required to wear that t-shirt every day. Bottoms are whatever they want, they can choose. If they're wearing shorts, they need to come up to the knee. Otherwise, leggings are fine also. If they're wearing a skirt, the girls, because they will be doing yoga and lifting their legs up and all of that, make sure that they wear some kind of shorts or capri pants underneath. They do not need to wear Indian clothes to camp. We want them to be comfortable. They're gonna be doing outdoor activities. They're gonna be doing a lot of physical stuff in camp. Our focus in our camp is body, mind, and intellect. We focus on the development of all 3 of those, okay? So that's why there's the bhakti aspect of it, there's the seva and the physical aspect of it, and then there's the intellectual learning also that they do of it, and the chanting and all of that. And closed-toe shoes must be worn every day, and they will remove their shoes when they come into the center. But again, if they're gonna be outside doing activities, they will need closed-toe shoes. They do, so the first day, please send a yoga mat or a yoga towel with them. Water bottles need to have a spout on them. We do not recommend disposable water bottles, because one of the things we try to do here is stay as green as possible and keep that in mind of how we're treating our environment. Also, glass bottles are not a good idea for that. So anything plastic or metal with their name label on it. The same thing for their yoga towels, please have that. We will send all of this in email to you. So if it seems like a lot of information coming to you, don't worry about it, everything will come. Please do read the emails and make sure that you whitelist our email addresses, because I know some of you had emailed and said that it ended up in spam. So please whitelist our email addresses that come from summer camp. And as far as possible, Balaji, who's here, sends it from that summer camp distribution list. But sometimes it comes from our individual email addresses, Chandanaji's or my email addresses, or some other sevaks. So just make sure you keep track of that. For grade 1 and 2, we ask you send some extra clothing in a Ziploc bag, because sometimes accidents happen. No backpacks, please, when they come to camp. We do not have the place to store them. So just a lunch sack and their water bottle is what we ask that you send with them. No cell phone devices. If your child is using an e-reader to read, that is for after camp. They can bring a book or something like that to read, as long as it can stay with their lunch sack. I also do not recommend sending library books with them, because they're kids, it gets lost, and then you're stuck with the fine to replace that book. Any electronic devices we find with the children will be confiscated, okay? And they will only be returned to you. If your children are part of a carpool, we will be providing a carpool zip code list, so you can carpool with other parents. We will not give it back to the carpool parent. You will have to come and collect it from us. That policy also applies to our youth volunteers. They're not allowed any electronics in the camp. The only electronics that are there are the adult sevaks, and that way, if we need it, we have an emergency or anything, and we have a landline phone that comes into camp also. Label your lunch bags, lunch containers, everything. Children will pray before the meals with Swamiji, and we recommend that you teach the binder they will be given a binder. We put together a binder with the curriculum that will remain at camp for the full 4 weeks, but a PDF copy will be available online. And as and how some chantings are recorded, we will upload them online so you can practice them with them. We recommend that you make this a family camp. That's what our whole goal is. We want you to be part of the fun and learning that they are doing. So they will chant the prayers. We do celebrate birthdays on Fridays where for whoever has a birthday in that week, we sing Janmadinamidam, which is the Sanskrit birthday song for them. The children will learn that also at camp. And you do need to send a vegetarian lunch Monday through Thursday. No eggs, no nuts, and no gelatin in it, please. So please be aware of that. And 2 snacks with them. The reason we ask you to send the food is it's very challenging for us to suit the palate of all the children. There's a lot of wasted food when we try do it, unless we give them pizza, which I don't think anybody wants them to be eating 5 days a week pizza. So please send those items with them. Pack them a good, like a substantial snack, okay? Because they will get, especially the afternoon, because they do athletics, they will get very hungry. The food should not require any heating. We do not have the ability to heat for them or anything like that. Now, if somebody drops their lunch, if the lunch goes bad, even though I've had it like literally cooked in the morning, but for whatever reason, something curdled towards the afternoon, we do have food here that you will all have the opportunity to provide for the teachers, and we will provide a lunch for them. So be assured that your child will never go hungry at camp if something happens with their lunch, or they forget it also. We will make sure that they eat, okay? On Fridays, we provide lunch, all lunch and snacks, so no need to pack that on that day. COVID, we will require all masks to be worn in the camp, other than when they're doing physical activities, and we're gonna set them up so that they're farther away. Our group sizes are smaller this year also, so that will also make it easier for us to keep the children separated. As far as possible, we are also going to silo the groups other than in assembly, but they will be sitting farther enough from each other, so it should be okay. The reason our COVID policies are stricter than what you're finding at FCPS or LCPS or wherever you're going to school is, there's only usually one of us. Like if I am doing whatever I'm doing, I do not have a backup. Or like if Arvindji is teaching the class, there is no substitute teacher I can call in. If Arvindji is not here, or Swamiji is here, or Chandanaji or Balaji is there. So we're all pretty much, because we take time, a lot of us are taking time off of work to be here so that we can run this camp for the children. So we are strict on our policy. We will have extra masks, both kid size and adult sizes, but whatever works best for your child, please provide them for that. We will limit the number of parents who come in to camp. There was a sign-up genius that was floated for volunteering, and I'll go over that. All families are required to donate 8 hours of seva to the camp, because when we run field trips and stuff like that, we need parent volunteers to do that. And there was a sign-up genius. There was one that was accepted during volunteering you had to commit to. And we had to change that because at that time we were not planning to do Friday trips, but now we're doing Friday trips. So there was a sign-up genius that was floated, sent out an email a couple of times. If you have not received it or have not changed your youth volunteer date, please talk to Chandana ji at the end of the presentation and make sure. If you're unable to volunteer for any reason, you can pay a $150 deposit in lieu of your volunteering. If you do not show up for your volunteering the day that you sign up, we have authorized those $150 on your credit card or whichever way you pay. We will take that fee at the end of camp. So that's basically a volunteering deposit that you have put in at this point of time. Monitoring, we will monitor. If there's any time a child is sick, and this is not just COVID related, we will call you for you to come pick up your child. For some of you, we do not have the contact information of the second parent. We require that we have parents, and I don't know if it was a system glitch, what happened. We have it for a lot of the parents, but not for some of you. So we ask that you get with, Chandanaji has the list of the parents we're missing the second contact. We ask that you give us that contact information because very rarely it happens, but we do need to reach you sometime.
Yeah, also that we see that, I'm just adding it because we don't forget better, right? So first number one point is that because this is a COVID time, we definitely need the second parent's information whether it's your, whatever you want to do, and the emergency contact. I do think that the emergency contact comes in when you just join as a member, and at that time, you don't feel important because it's just only 1 hour, a couple of hours you're in the building. But because you are at the summer camp, you are sending the child for 8 hours, for 4 weeks, we do need the emergency contact information. It's very important, and we do had scenarios in the past wherein the child had, nausea and then didn't want to be at the school at all, and then the child wanted the mom to be there in 15 minutes, and which is not possible, and then there had to be some emergency person who had to pick it up.
Yeah.
So it's just explaining you a scenario.
So the
Go
emergency,
into the system and then log in, and then probably you'll see the profile or whatever it is, right? But just go and update, so we'll get that information from
Yeah.
there. I'll go over with that, the system details one more time. I don't want to cut you off. Just
no, that's good. And the emergency contact is separate from both parents. So when you go into the system, cell phones for both parents, and then, or, if you're a single parent, I get it. And then an emergency contact who's separate from the parents. All this will be posted in terms of, symptoms that we're following the CDC protocol for whatever it is with your negative COVID test. Again, please be aware. I know this is a substitute for childcare for a lot of people, but please understand that if your child has symptoms and you send them, it has the ability to knock out the rest of the camp depending on who gets affected, which teachers, and how many children get affected. So again, the same rules that we always learn growing up about social responsibility, we ask that you follow those also. We do ask that, and that was part of the roles and responsibilities that you signed up when you signed for camp, that all students are responsible for their actions. We ask them to keep their hands and feet to themselves. They must respect themselves, other camp students, youth volunteers, and adults. All youth volunteers are addressed as Didi and Bhaiya by them, even if they know them outside of camp by their first name. Within camp, they are addressed as Didi and Bhaiya. All of us are auntie and uncle, and of course you have Swamiji, Medhaji, Avinashji, and Arvindji that they address with their names with the G. Respectful of camp equipment, facilities, and the environment, and camp students will show kindness to their fellow camp students and adults and abide by camp rules, and honesty will be the basis of all camp interactions. Okay. With respect to discipline, just as an FYI, we have a 3-strike rule for that one. If something happens the first time, the child will be told, you will be informed about that, right? The second time, I think they have to stay home for a day. They have to stay home for a day. And if the third time the same violation happens, they are dismissed from camp. Now, I've never had to dismiss a child from camp. I've been doing this since 2004. But I have had to have children stay at home. And the saddest one is when it happens on Thursday, because Friday is a field trip day, okay? And I have unhappy parents and unhappy children. I am equally unhappy, he knows, this is my husband here, when I go home, but the rules are the rules. Oh, as I did not go over the Fridays. So the first Friday, we will be going to Hope and Serenity Farm in Noakesville. It's an animal sanctuary. Your children will have an opportunity to work with the animals, have a tour of the facility, and also do, I think, some other activity. The Vidyuji who's here, who actually probably directed you into this room, is part of our Friday coordination team. Chandana ji has printed out, we need a release from each family for each child. So if you have multiple children in camp, we need a paper release from all of you. So Chandana ji has copies of that today, so you can do the release today itself at the end of this presentation. And otherwise we'll be attaching it and sending it. Your child cannot come to the field trip without the release, and we cannot sign it on behalf of the families. So just so you're aware, and the bus is leaving right after your children arrive at camp on Friday. So please, please, please make sure that you get us that form. The last thing I need is somebody having to stay back because your child does not have that forum. And more than the Sevak staying back, that's not the bigger challenge I have. It's the crying child that I have to deal with. I do not want to do that. So the second Friday we will be on site, and we're planning like a water slide and things like that. We will have more details of all that. We're still forming up the contracts for that. And on the last Friday, we will teach the children how to do Havan here. So Swamiji leads the chanting for that, and Avinash ji will teach them how to do Havan here. And then we do Holi on our last Friday. And so I recommend that day the children wear like a white t-shirt or something like that to camp. We'll send you details again. We buy organic, I think, vegan colors or whatever. We bought them from the same company for a long time because I know the kids have sensitive skins, but it's one of the most fun activities we have. If you look at our video on the camp video, that we have a 2-minute video posted on the website, you will see the smiling faces for that. And we've already procured our pitchkaris, our water squirts already are ready for camp, so every child can have a pitchkari to play with. So other than that, our email address, actually, we will update that. That is the Chinmaya DC one. We'll update that before we put it on the website. And all our information is on the website, and this will also get posted. Before I go into Q&A, I would like Arvindji for you to learn and talk to Arvindji for a few minutes, and then we'll have a Q&A after that. So.
Hari Om. Someone was telling me that before marriage and before having children, they had 3 theories on how to raise their child. And now, after a few years, they met and they said, now I have 3 children and no theory. Parents, we live in affluent society. What we miss here is discipline, the value. We give them a lot of valuable things, but we don't know how to give them values. So this is a place where Swami Chinmayananda's, with his inspiration, we have this place. See, in India, we learn from uncles and aunts. We have temples, so they don't charge money. But here everything, we have to pay money. What to do? We live in this society. That's why all these rules and regulations are there. But the currency in Chinmaya Mission is love. Love and purpose. We should have purpose for our life. That we teach to adults. That we try to have purpose to our life as adults. Money we get, name and fame we get, but we don't get happiness. See, that's why in society we have presidents, CEOs of company who do some silly things, and then they are in news. How can we not be, what is the guarantee that this will not happen to my child? What is the guarantee? One saint used to say, if the winter is dawns on your village, every house will get it. Don't go to improve society, you please wear a sweater. That works. Yeah. So this is here, we are now wearing sweater to our own soul. The value. Once we have the value, see, difficult situations will come to our children. When they go to middle school, high school, the hazing would happen. College they would go. But something we want to give them that will be with them, grow with them, and then when we are not there, they'll be self-sufficient. This is what will be theme of this camp. And that we learn through stories of Hanumanji, Ramayana, and like this. So, whatever the children will imbibe from parents, from the Swamiji, it is acts as a family. So, family that prays together, thinks together, stays together. See, So this is what is the theme of this camp. This year I am so excited that I'll be associated with teaching couple classes every day here. So I consider myself lucky. I've been fortunate to be teaching Bala Vihar since 1989. So I've seen many children, many college graduates. Now their children, they come to our class. And I tell you, this is the best thing that happened to me. That I came in contact with Chinmaya Mission. Whatever mission, since we are sitting in mission, I call Chinmaya Mission. Whatever, Ramakrishna Mission, Shiva Vishnu Temple, they teach the same thing. There is no conflict. We work with them. I grew up in Ramakrishna Mission. And after marriage, I got this dowry of Chinmaya Mission. Anyway, so I don't want to take too much of your time. But embrace as a family. And you will find, I'll guarantee you, you will find purpose for your family and purpose for yourself. Hari.
Thank you. What Arvindji did mention is Arvindji's son is a Bala Vihar graduate and a Bala Vihar teacher. His daughter-in-law is a Bala Vihar teacher, and now they have a granddaughter who will be coming to Bala Vihar also. So it's a family tradition. Everybody, pretty much most of our sevaks who are here, not actually all of us, have children in Bala Vihar. And then, graduate and go on to our Yuva Kendra programs and our Chinmaya Setukari programs. And for those of you who have older children who are coming into high school, we do have a camp for them the week after summer camp ends. We have a 1-week camp with our Vedanta teacher from Niagara Falls, Vivekji, and he'll be here for a week doing a camp with them. And then for our older who are college students, 18 and above, I think, there's a weekend camp on 8th, 9th, and 10th also with Vivekji at the Maryland Center. So, any questions from anybody regarding this, regarding what we've shared with you?
I'm pretty sure that it's a lot of information. It's got this.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, my son Rama, he's going to join the summer camp this year. So, if it is new for him, will it be challenging for, let's say, with the already existing children who have been taught?
Absolutely no.
Yeah.
They will love the camp.
Yeah, so the way we teach in summer camp, echoing what Chandana ji just said, the way we teach it is assuming that they're not aware of what it is, especially now we're coming in after a COVID 2-year in-person break. So if this is your first interaction ever, either with summer camp, Chinmaya Mission, anything, please do not be concerned. We will make sure that your children are comfortable at camp, are learning from Swamiji. For those of you who have had children, it's amazing how Swamiji is able to teach them Bhagavad Gita, how it happens magically. By the end of week 3, they have it memorized, most of them.
I have
18
a parent
shlokas.
here who has joined her. She's a friend of mine. We just happened to talk, and then she was really into it, and then she you want to share a couple of thoughts? Abhiram is in, and I think he's into the Bhagavad Gita, and then he's pushing the mom to get into the summer camp every year, whether she wants to do it or not, and he's the one behind it. And so.
And that's how most of us are for our children. So for the time that my kids were in camp, we took our summer vacations around summer camp because these 4 weeks were so precious to them. Their best friends have come out of summer camp. Most of us, most everybody who's there, we work our schedule around these 4 weeks to do that, and then they choose to come back as volunteers because they've had such a positive experience. So please, long answer to your short question is they will be fine. Yes.
Could you talk about the class sizes and then age ranges?
So the class sizes, grade 1 is one group, and that's I think at 10 students right now. Grade 2 and 3 are together, and that's I believe at 20 students, 20 or 20, huh?
18 or 19, I believe.
Okay, somewhere around 20. We're in the 20 range, okay? grade 4, 5, and 6 are together, that's about 15 students, and grade 7 and 8 are together, and that's about 15 students. So I think total we're at 55 or 56? 56 students this year. So they're spread out, yes.
So when you say grade level, are you referring to the grade they finished or the one they're starting?
The one they're starting.
The one they're starting.
The one they're starting. So it's the rising grade we look at. We want them to celebrate the fact that they've graduated. Because I mean, Fairfax County schools ended last week, and I think Loudoun's ending. So we look at rising grade. So when I say first grade, it's the child going into first grade in September. So somebody else had a question. Yes.
So for the first graders, like in general, the school hours is around 7 hours. Here it is kind of like 8 hours schedule. Like, would
Yeah.
it be too hectic for them, or is it manageable?
They do fine. What we do in the afternoons for the first grade children is we do build in a lot of downtime for them. That's why the first, second, and third grades don't have some of like the culinary arts and some of the other activities, is because we set them up with like indoor games and puzzles and things like that, so they can have quieter afternoons. Because otherwise it's a full day for them. And that's actually why I said, don't pack their evenings with, I know all our kids are in multiple different activities. Refrain from that, especially for the younger ones, but they do absolutely fine. When we started camp here in 2004, we were taking 3-year-olds at the camp, and they made it through the entire day without a nap time, which now on hindsight doesn't seem like the smartest thing we ever did, but that was why we changed our age and brought it up to 6. So
I'm just thinking also, I don't think we ever had that thought even that the kids were getting tired. They were so much energetic throughout the day. Of course, after they go home, one thing you can see is that you just have to be ready to feed them something and then they'll go to bed. You will love that. Believe me or not, you will love that feeling of
yeah, that's the other thing I do recommend to you. Treat this like a school schedule. So I know it's the summer and we all want to stay up late and watch movies and do fun stuff like that. Let's save it for the weekend, because they want to come home, they want to eat dinner, and they will crash. And so that way they won't be late in the morning. And then Bhagavad Gita teaching, the biggest part of it happens between that 9 to 9:45 time in there. And Swamiji does not like, so the way they seat is they sit with their groups. So if they come in late, they have to sit separately, because then they can't blend in, sit with their group, and they do not like that. But that's so that the lines are not disrupted in the groups, and the teaching for the rest of the children is not disrupted. You will find that our camp is a little bit more stringent on these rules, but exactly for the reason that Arvindji said, is that discipline and that value and that timeliness that, sometimes slips away from all of us as parents. We're willing to be indulgent. This environment brings it back to them. The other thing I will say, they become very comfortable with eating Indian food, because the child next to them has the Indian food and that, so there's not all this fuss sometimes I hear from parents saying, oh, they don't want to take idli or chapati or whatever else. You will not find that, because pretty much everybody else brings that. So that is a big change I hear from parents all the time, is their comfort with that food, our food that's there. We also make them sit on the floor. We have yoga mats for them laid out, and so they learn how to eat sitting on the floor cross-legged. And that's, again, it's one of our traditions. So none of the classrooms will have chairs and tables. Auditorium will not have chairs and tables. Everything is done sitting on the floor cross-legged, or, Swamiji has 7 different poses. Swamiji teaches them that they can sit in. The one that's not taught is the one where they can stick their legs out in front of you, because that's not part of the 7 that's respectful for them to sit with. But they can sit in Vajrasana, they can sit cross-legged, they can sit in Padmasana. There's like 7 different poses that Swamiji teaches. And that's how they sit, and that's how they eat their lunch also.
We wanted to try also to let go of their spoons, but then we thought that it is too early, so we have to try at
We
some
do that with
point
our
in
high
time.
school students.
Yeah, high schools with Vivekji's camp, they do that.
We do not have any cutlery at that camp. They are taught to eat with their hands at that point of time. So if you're not doing it at home, it's a good time to start. And then, of course, when they come to the high school camp, they'll do that. So
I'm sure Sudhita ji has mentioned this, but just don't get panicked that if you are not, if any of the food of your child gets, I think you talked
No, I
about
already
it,
talked about,
yes.
I mentioned about,
So, yeah.
he will
so
provide,
Food
yeah.
will be covered and snacks also will be covered at times. It's just only that we may not give them the snack they want, but then if they're really hungry and they want it,
They'll eat it,
They'll
they'll eat it.
so we will give them a healthy snack so that they'll not forget their snack the next day.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yes?
So what is the food on Friday?
So Friday is pizza. Friday is pizza. And then the snack is, I think we have different snacks. We also do a custom Sunday bar on one of the Fridays where we have all the toppings and we serve them. That we do cotton candy on one Friday and popcorn. So Friday is their cheat day, okay? Don't ask us what we feed them on a Friday, okay? Those who come on a Friday can see what we do on a
And a
Friday.
drink also, right?
Yes, because they get 7-Up because Jai Ram, Sri Ram, Jai Jai Ram is 7. And that's 7-Up, so they get 7-Up with their pizza on Friday. So again, if you don't do soda at home, well, just let them go this Friday. If your children have allergies, let us know. We will cater and we'll be very careful. And that's why our camp is completely nut-free. We do not want any nuts because I know how dangerous that can be for the children. So we will make sure that they have, and we may ask you to provide like snacks that work for your child if your child has any allergies. And even pizza, we've had children who are gluten-free, vegan, all of that. We'll cater as long as we can purchase it for them. Like I can order a pizza that's vegan and gluten-free or whatever, I can provide it at camp. We will take care of that. We want all children to feel included with that. Also, if you have medications that they need to have, EpiPens, anything else that they need to have, there is a medication authorization form on our website. You need to fill that out and give it to us so we can store the medication on campus here and administer it as needed. Preferably, we ask that if it's not a medication that has to be done midday, you do it in the morning before you send them to camp. But we will take care of it if it needs to be administered during the day.
So that is the reasons, before you forget, after you leave here, after you go home, wherever it is, please log in to your, the registered, and then make sure you update everything, even the smallest allergies or whatever it is. Do fill it in, do update the emergency contacts and everything. And from now to the start day of the camp, there will be a few emails now and then, which is the parent one, including the parent orientation follow-up, what we have talked about, all kinds of links. Just make sure you go through all of them. And we will send in the information what Sudhita ji has mentioned, that we will again separately send to the parents who have listed their kids as allergy or whatever it is. We'll send them separately an email with all the information what we want from you. And also there will be welcome emails wherein we provide all the information what she has just mentioned, the numbers, including numbers and whatnot. So be patient and have some time to read through our emails, especially if you have
We
new
spend a lot
members.
of time doing those and making sure you have all the information. Please read them. If you have any confidential information about your child that you need to share that is relevant to us at camp, please reach out to us. That information I'll give you my phone number and we can chat on the phone and we can do that. If you have any kind of special needs child, we are not catering to that, but depending on where they are or what their need is, we can accommodate to some extent, but we're not designed to be a camp for children who have special needs. So just as an FYI. You had a question?
Is there any restriction on lunch, like egg or?
Yes, no eggs,
No eggs.
no gelatin, and no nuts.
Okay.
Yeah, so it has to be a vegetarian lunch. And please check like the Go-Gurts and all of that. A lot of them have gelatin in them. They're sneaking it into all the oddest of things now. So please be very careful that you do not send that to camp. We're very stringent about that. Again, if we find something, we'll provide a substitute to your child, but the best thing is for you to look at labels because, there are 56 kids here. it's hard for us to monitor it.
If your child knows about this, and then if you try to put in that I did that one time with the lemon rice, put the peanuts in it, my daughter said like, no, I'm not taking this lunch because it's not for me, it's my friends who are not able to eat the peanuts. So Sahaj, Suditaji's son, he was a little allergic to peanuts until a certain point of time. She would reject.
Yeah, they take care of each other that way. That's very beautiful to see because both my children have food allergies and all their friends were protective around them of what they brought and what they did so that, there never was an incident at camp with respect to their allergies. Yes?
For any particular day, we want to drop off lunch, we couldn't pack it before 8:30. Can we come to the camp and whom do we contact? Is there a phone number that?
So there will be a
because
phone.
It's gonna be locked, right?
Yeah, the door will be locked, so that's the other thing, the door is locked at 9 a.m. and not open till 4:40 in the evening, okay? But we will post a phone number on there, you can call us and we will come in and get the lunch. So yes, I understand sometimes that happens. To get them here, depending on where you're staying, it can be quite early, and that's why we do that 9:45 snack, because some people have commutes. I've had children coming in from Washington DC and Falls Church, so they probably spent an hour on the road to get to camp at that point of time. So yes, if that happens, yes.
So if a friend of mine has to pick up my kid, like, is there a release form that needs to
Yes,
fill out?
you will need that to do that. You need to tell us who it is and give us the information, who it is. We won't release. Also, we will be giving you placards for your car because now that we're doing it. So previously in the afternoon, parents could come in and pick up the children. But now we're not doing that because of COVID. And so we will move, other than the children who are having hopping game, most of the children will be moved into the lobby in certain locations, so they're still kind of separated. We're still working out the details. That was one of the reasons we limited attendance this year, because this is all new to all of us of what we're trying to do also, and we wanted to have that window that we could do it well. But then they need to have that placard that we give you with your child's name and group number and everything like that, if they're gonna pick you up. We will also, as I mentioned, give you a zip code list, sort of the parent name, email, and by zip code. Yeah, sorted by zip code, and then you can reach out and create and do carpools on that. I cannot tell you exactly what the rule is for the late fee. We will send it to you, but it applies by child, I think. So if you have 5 kids in the carpool and you are late after 5:30, you owe, it doesn't come to me, it comes to Chinmaya Mission. It's a donation to the mission. Okay, just so you're clear. But I have been here at times till 7:30 with children. My children at home, well, he gets to cook and clean and do whatever else, because by the time I walk in, and I've been here since 8 o'clock in the morning, right? I'm done for the day. So please, please, please be mindful that we're all Sevaks, we all have families at home. Some of us do this in the daytime and then go home and do evening work still, because we've been here all day. So we please ask that you honor that time.
Yeah, so with the t-shirts.
Yes.
When are we going to?
So you'll get the t-shirts next Saturday, okay? We have set up on camp here from 9 to 4. You'll get an email, I think it's usually from 9 to 12 or something. There's a 3-hour window that we give you that you can come on, pick up the t-shirts. And we try doing it by orientation day, but that doesn't always work out because we accept registrations as late as possible so more children can be part of camp. And this year, like everything else, we've run into tremendous number of challenges with the t-shirt printing, because supply chains are so disrupted at this point of time. It's been interesting finding colors for all of us. Yeah.
If we are arranging a carpooling
Mhm.
with few parents, couple of parents, how does the cost is? Can we drop off at the time of drop off? Can we?
Sure, you can do that.
Give
It's
the
not an
cost
issue,
so that-
it's just that we need to let us know a little bit in hand so that we label them, and the youth volunteer team will take care of that.
Sure.
We'll try to make it possible as much as it is. We are trying to accommodate, like you said, even the friends or anybody picking up. As long as we know that we know them and you know them and that kind
The
of
child
connection
knows,
happens, the child everything. But before that, we'll make sure that sometimes we ask the parents to show the IDs, and some parents really get very annoyed with doing that. But it's not for us, it's really basically for the security of the child and the family, we do that. So we'll make
Yeah,
sure
like
first.
in our neighborhood, like couple of,
Yeah.
kids
Yeah,
are-
and absolutely, that works very well, and that's very helpful when you can do that. One of my neighbors, is her children are coming here, and my son is coming as a youth volunteer. Of course, I'm here almost every day at camp, but if there's any day that I'm not here, she can bring my children with my child, which will be very helpful. So I totally get that, but we'll manage that. Just make sure they're labeled. All car seats look alike, pretty much. And so make sure that they're labeled, we know which one goes to which child at that
Also,
point of
because
time.
the gas price is rising up, you must have to consider the carpooling, yes.
Somebody, I think you had a question, yes.
Outside of the snacks and the lunch, right, I don't think the kids need to carry any stationaries on a daily basis, do they?
Nothing.
No.
We'll provide everything for them, arts and crafts material, writing material, whatever else, pens, pencils, everything will be provided for them. At the end of camp, we will place everything in a bag for them, including their binder. That binder is one of the most precious things because of all the information that's there in that. So make sure on finale day, because they use their binders for the finale, they do Gita chanting from stage that day for you. You would make sure that evening you pick up your bags, and they usually have their art and whatever else we've done, we put it all together for you, and we give you a bag of their stuff. And for those, again, who've been in camp, some of the artwork and all that they do is pretty amazing. That we have a fabulous art team here, and a lot of the activities will be theme related to Hanumanji, and some will just be other stuff. And we try to work with different media for them, so they get familiarized with different media.
Yeah, there are books even in the library, and we do have, for the summer camp, a lot of books they do read. Some of them would love to read them.
Yeah, we have a
Sometimes-
selection of Amar
Yeah.
Chitra Kathas and all of that for them in their downtime that they can read, that are placed in all the classrooms.
Yeah, they're so fascinated with it, some of the children, because they have never read it, they would want to take them home also. We will try to see that they do get a chance to take them, but then we'll have to work with the library sevak for that. But, yeah, so those are things which like, you just have to make sure that if you take them, you bring them back again on time. So,
Yeah.
believe me, this camp, for some people, they have done wonders, the kids have changed so much. So, fingers crossed, keep your fingers crossed.
Any other questions? Yes.
What if the kid is not interested in the prayer, that you have every day?
This is peer power, is what Swamiji calls it. The external world has peer pressure for them, which is a negative most of the time. They're doing things that they may not always want to do because their friends are doing it. This is the peer power, where the pull of the group, the environment, this beautiful ashram that we're in, our sevaks, our teachers, the vibrations you can sense when you're here, right? That will pull them and they will participate. I have seen amazing transformation in children where, like Chandana was saying, they lead it. So this year it hasn't happened. My niece travels from San Francisco to here for 4 weeks for summer camp because they don't have a summer camp like this. And that is not driven by me or my younger sister. That's driven by my niece wanting to be here. And so it is, and my niece is not the only one. We have a lot of other families who host their cousins' children or their siblings' children, because this is like this is our Swamiji's brainchild, and we have it all over the country in different centers that we've transferred the knowledge so they can have the camps. But it is a very, very unique camp that will bring them into this environment. And that's why I said, you can do that with you being part of that, you keeping that thing. So in our cars in the morning, we play bhajans while driving. In afternoon, they can do whatever they want. In the morning, it's bhajans. Once the recordings are posted on the website, right, we chant that in the morning every day in carpool. Even if it's carpool, that's the rule. We go over it once. I keep printouts in the car. Most everybody, Chandana does that, Bala, all of us who've had children, we keep printouts because the binder will be on the website for you to do. Keep it in the car, use that time for review. Afternoon, they can do whatever they want in the car. But mornings, we bring that mindset, that bhakti bhav to come to camp and bring that in here. So, oh, one thing I forgot to mention, please make sure your children shower in the morning, okay? I know a lot of them do activities in the afternoon, in the evening, and then they shower in the evening before going to bed, but they are coming to an ashram. There is a Bhagwan Shiva's murti upstairs. They will be chanting Bhagavad Gita, they'll be doing prayers. If they take a shower in the evening, at least have them rinse in the morning before they come to camp, okay? So that is a request we make. Again, different, I know. It add maybe 10 minutes to your child. If you have a teenager, it may add 45 minutes to your schedule and a much larger water bill, okay? But please make them at least rinse, wear fresh clothes, right? If they have those t-shirts, we're giving you 2, just laundry. It's a great time to teach them about doing laundry, of doing their own laundry, right? It's a good discipline for them to have, and that's the same thing for our youth volunteers. They learn that also. Any other questions? We're almost at 5 o'clock. Yes, Arvindji.
One last comment.
Yes, and actually, Arvindji, can you do closing prayers for us?
Yes. About the prayer, we are encouraged to let children ask questions. We don't teach prayer. See, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. We don't force prayer on children. I mean, some discipline, yes, they would have. They'll chant, and but then if they say, I don't believe in God, we don't challenge it. We don't argue with them, we discuss with them. At age-appropriate levels, this is the discussion. This is the theme of Balavihar. In fact, we want them to ask questions. And we'll have their age-appropriate discussion. This goes through the youth and the adults too. Even, adults, as we say, adults, we believe in God, and then we can have discussion, and then you'll say, okay, I don't believe in God.
That's very true.
Our faith has different shades of gray, if I would call it. So please don't be afraid that we'll be forcing them, brainwashing. No. We want discussion on the prayer, and we'll have discussion on the prayer. We encourage them to question about God.
Yeah, thank you for the clarification. Yeah, there's no force. If they choose not to chant with everybody else, that's absolutely fine. Nobody will make them chant the things. What I have seen though is that environment encourages them to learn and encourages them to chant. We do not also insist upon a particular pronunciation or anything like that, because I know some of our children have an accent here from being, and so when they chant the Hindi or the Sanskrit that comes up, that's absolutely fine. It's okay. We want them to fall in love with their culture, with their religion, and ask as many questions. They ask so many questions of their teachers, and some of them are very profound questions that they ask based on the stories and how they bring it into their environment and how it's relevant to them. So it's thank you, Arvindji, for clarifying that.
I mean, even within the family, husband believes, wife doesn't. I mean, it happens everywhere. So then you may believe, your child may not believe, or it could be other way. It happens. It's a personal thing. So let them grow at their pace. We'll guide them, of course. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhave. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We'll do it one more time. Om Shanti Shanti. Looks like you're rushing in the piece, but that's fine. We'll get it. We'll get it right some other time. See, in a temple, if you go, you ring a bell. It's a tung, those vibrations. Like that, the prayer should vibrate in our heart. Don't rush.
Thank you.
I do have the